Hello friends, foes, other watchers on the internet. My name is Matt, you're watching Hogwash Gaming, and today we're going to be covering a game that I remember watching my parents play with their friends. And I was like, wow, that looks like an awesome game, but I was too young to understand how it worked. Well, today I'm going to change all that by learning how to play Rummikub. The game of Rummikub is played with chips, and these chips are kind of like dominoes, except instead of pips, they have digits. Each player also gets a sort of tray, so they can organize their chips as they play the game. The goal of the game of Rummikub is to be the first player to lay down all your chips in groups or runs. To begin a game, flip all the chips over so that they are face down on the table. Next, shuffle the chips and have each player draw a chip. Whoever has the highest value chip starts the game off. Before a round begins, put the chips back and then shuffle them, and then every player gets to draw 14 chips. As I said before, you have to make groups or runs with your numbers, and groups are made up of the same number, just different colors, whereas runs are made up of sequential numbers in one color. The value of each chip is designated by the face value of the number on it, and a player can't start laying down chips until they have 50 points worth in their sets. Now, here's something that I don't think the game makers meant to say, but this is what they said. In order to lay down these tiles, you have to have a total of 50 points in the amount of runs and groups that you're going to be putting down. Now, this is troublesome to me because it doesn't say or more, which would imply that you had to have 50 exactly. I don't know if they meant 50 or more, or if they indeed meant 50 exactly. So, I'm gonna let you be the deciders there. If you know and would like to leave the knowledge in the comments, let me know, and I will appreciate it. Let's get back to learning how to play this game. Now, if you're wondering what the smiley faces are, those are jokers, and they count as wild. And when they are put into a sequence, they become the value of the number they're replacing. So in this instance, this player has at least 50 points, so we're gonna say he can lay down his chips on the table. Once your chips have hit the table, they no longer count as yours. Anyone can play off of them, and that comes in handy later in the game. You see, just because the chips are on the table in their groups and sets doesn't mean they're gonna stay there for the rest of the game. Players can move them around, as long as they make sure that each group and run still has 3 chips. In this example, the right player has an 8 that doesn't match the color of any of the other 8s laying down there. So he replaces the wild and moves it to wherever he wants it. Seeing as he has a black 12 and 13, it would do him well to continue the black run so he can lay those down later. The left player sees a chance to lay down his orange 10 by moving the wild over and placing his 10 in between the wild and the 11. These kinds of plays are called playing the table, and keep in mind that you can't play the table until you've laid down your 50 points of chips. If for some reason on your turn you can't lay down any chips, then you have to draw one from the boneyard. And your turn isn't limited to just one play. As long as you can keep laying down chips, then you can keep going. Here we see the right player laying down his 10 and 11, moving the wild to make a 12, which allows him to lay down his 13. But he's not done yet. He's moving the wild over here to make it into an 11, and then he can lay down his 12 and 13. This leaves him with only 3 chips. He's doing well. And notice, all the runs that he's been making are at least 3 chips long. There are a couple ways for each round to end. For one thing, a player might go Rummikub. That means they lay down all of their chips. In this case, each of the other players adds up the value of all their remaining chips, with wilds being 30 points, and subtract those points from their score. The winner adds up all the scores of all of his opponents and adds those to his score. There is another way for the round to end, and that's when the draw pile runs out. If no one has gone Rummikub, then the person with the lowest score is considered the winner. Everyone adds up their points as usual, but they subtract the winner's amount. And though the winner doesn't gain any points, he doesn't lose any either, so that's cool, I guess. After you've written down the scores, it's time to start a new round, and the number of rounds is up to you. So if you find this game kicking around, I encourage you to try it out. And until next time, this is Hogwash. Over and out, I'll catch you later.